Hey guys, so what we have here is actually an experiment of growing sapotes, just different type of sapotes in Houston, Texas, in Zone 9A, in ground. And, this one is actually the black sapote. It's also called the Mexican persimmons. If you look closely, it's fruiting right here. It's flowering, fruiting all at the same time. And it's been raining in Houston for the last couple of days, so it did drop a few of the blossoms or fruit. And it's actually not a bad plant to grow in ground. And the reason why is that if you look closely, you see it? It's actually flower and fruits on new shoots. So, so you can definitely take some risks when growing this thing in ground, that if you do get a really severe freeze, you can definitely protect the bottom and it will shoot back up. And if the roots is established, then it can shoot back up pretty quickly. So, but the other thing with the sapote in general is that it takes forever for the fruit to ripen. So what you want to do when you grow these things is that you want to be very selective. You really want to prune and cut some of these fruit off, abort them really at an early stage, so that way all the energy is concentrated on the select few. So that way, by the fall, you can actually harvest them. Because depends on the variety, it could take up to 2 years, believe it or not. But I think the black sapote, they do ripen, roughly between 6 to 9 months. So that is still a very long time, but it's definitely doable in Houston, Texas, as far as getting them to fruit and ripen enough where you can actually harvest them and eat them. But some of the other different variety of sapotes, it takes 12 months. If you talk about the mamey, that thing could take up to 18 to 2 years from flowering to mature ripened fruit. So it probably doesn't make sense to grow that. It's just between the freeze, the rain, the hurricanes, the animals, that's just a lot of trouble. Your chance of getting something good is not there. But overall, but yeah, outside that, I have it here just so it's semi protected from the freeze or the just getting some windbreak too at the same time with this old abandoned chicken run here. So, but yeah, I'm about to not prune, but you really just thin out some of these blossom or flowers. Ideally, you want them to start fruiting first before you do it. And yes, a tree will thin these fruits by themselves, but if you do it for them, it's much quicker. So the idea here is these fruits, they get pretty big. It could be like a hand size of them. So you really want only one per one of these branch, especially when it's young like this. So so just give me a second. So the things that when you do these kind of prunings, you want to do it in the afternoons. You also want to do when it's dry, and then also make sure you clean your scissors, or whatnot before you do them. So that way it has a chance to dry up and it's not getting infected. So right now it's late afternoon, so it's actually a very good time to prune some of these guys off, so that way so you see this cluster right here. I'm just gonna prune the newly ones. You see the ants is actually pollinating the black sapote for me, but I'm just gonna sip that one up, and I'm just gonna sip this one too. You really want the exterior, the one that's furthest away from the branches, to be to go away really, and then you want to keep the interior just so that way it can hold on to better. Likewise here, you would cut this one, then you would cut this one, then you leave that one. so that way it has more support. But yeah, they are self-pollinating, and you know, both the male and the female flowers are there. So it's very similar to your typical persimmons, actually, that they have a really good high rate of pollination. So there's very little concern. So the fertilizer that I'm using is Dr. Earth. It's actually the one for the vegetables. It really doesn't matter. It's the number here is 463 anyway, as far as the NPKY. So it's really all the same. So, but I do have issues when I apply these, because mainly my dog would try to eat them. So I use make it more like a fertilizer tease instead of your typical fertilizer, where I just throw straight in, because when I do throw straight in, my dog just take it up. So I have it in this little water bottle. I have this little rain barrel here that I'm add water to it. You want to shake this thing up a little bit, let it mix. It doesn't have to go all the way in, really. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, so you just water it. The other things I like to add is warm castings. So we'll take a scoop. I actually like the warm casting but a little better. It's mainly because dogs or rodents, they really don't smell it, really. So they really don't dig to it. So usually I'll add the warm casting first. Then I'll wash it down with the fertilizer. And it's supposed to rain later today and tomorrow. So that's the best time to plant or to fertilize things. Yeah, that's really all you need. Alright, you guys like that? I went ahead and applied a thin mulch around the area too, because it is the end of May, so definitely want to mulch your tree if they haven't been done so. And you also like to pull the mulch back actually during the winter, just so things could dry up quickly. Wish me luck in this experiment. Now this Sapote is actually getting some shade with the tomato here, so it's going to protect keeping the ground a little bit cooler, since we're about to head into the heat of the summer. But yeah, I prune most of it. I probably can prune a little bit more of these fruits, but I'm gonna wait for maybe in 2 weeks to make sure that they're getting a little bit bigger, just to be sure, because it is my first time trying this out. It makes sense, but you just never know, with these kind of experiment wise. But hopefully I'll do a follow-up video of this, when hopefully I'll get some ripe fruit in the late fall. So this is the Chico Sapote. This is really the typical Sapote that you will see, or like when you talk about Sapote, and this is your classic brown sugar type of Sapote. And this one actually got hurt pretty bad from the freeze, but it's making a comeback. You see it? I believe 2 of these things are right at the graph right there. So it could be the original rootstock, but one of them is like slightly above the graph, or maybe just right at the graph. Unsure, really don't know. Honestly, I'm just happy that it survived the freeze. So but yeah, like this one is recovering, so I'm thinking at least 2 more winters before it's gonna be back in the ground again. But it is a slow grower though, so I'll either have to put this one along the house next year, or give it at least 2 years before attempting to put it in the ground again. But it's definitely a winner as far as fighting for its life. But look, the leaves are so shiny. It's kind of that. So yeah, definitely something you definitely want to experiment if you live in Zone 9A. I've seen people with the Chico Sapote in ground, like a huge tree before, but I'm pretty sure they live a little bit further south or borderline between 9A and 9B. But this is definitely one that you definitely want to experiment and push the zone if you're in 9A or so. Over here we have the Canistel, also known as the egg fruit. So this one is gonna be grown in a container for one more winter, and then at least one more, maybe two. Kind of undecided yet, but after that, then it's time to put it in the ground. It has the same cold hardiness as the black Sapote, so I have to go find a good spot for it. But yeah, it's looking really good. So it's really happy being in this container since last year. So the last tree that we're gonna cover is the white Sapote. This is probably the easiest one to plant in Zone 9A, mainly because it's cold hardy, but also could tolerate the extreme heat in Houston, Texas too at the same time. So yeah, this is if you can only plant one, this is the one that you want to plant. The easiest one right here, white Sapote. Looks really good. It has some caterpillar damage earlier this year, so but otherwise it's really enjoying itself. It completely defoliated, but then it got new leaves, and everything's looking really good right now. Wish me luck, guys. This is it. Thanks for watching, and as a bonus, check out this little strawberry. This is the Alpine strawberry. Very tiny, but delicious. All right, see ya.